Hi, welcome back. Now that we've looked at two variables in relationship and we've talked about statistical significance and confirmation bias, the logical next thing to do to go deeper into the relationships, to build more excitement into your plot, and to avoid confirmation bias and the correlation as causation fallacy as much as possible. The remedy to all of those things can be found in looking at more than two variables at a time, looking at three variables at a time, and looking at as many different data sources as possible at a time. So in this module, we'll be talking about what's called multivariate analysis. So that means looking at three or more variables at the same time. And we'll also be talking about joining data sets. So working with more than one data set at a time, which is a really good protection for bias, prejudice, problematic data. But you have to be a little bit careful in how you do it. One way to do multivariate analysis is to use a lot of variables that exist within your data set. We'll be looking at that with our Sustainable Society Index data in just a minute. Another way to do it is to go outside your data and look for data sets that are measuring similar or the same thing and combine those data sets. Tableau has a really nice way to bring data sets together. But before we do that, we need to take a quick look at one of the pitfalls of this, and that is if you're going to look at more than one data set at a time, you have to make sure that the data sets are measuring the same thing. So here's an example from The Guardian where they're talking about the women who feel unsafe and whether they're likely to be attacked. So they're drawing on two separate data sets, and one of the data sets is statistics about who is likely to be attacked, and the other data set are statistics about who feels the safest. So they're making a claim that isn't it strange, isn't it interesting that this one subpopulation of women is very fearful. They feel very unsafe. Older women feel very, very unsafe and are expecting to be attacked. And yet at the same time, if we look at this other data set, older women are the least likely to be attacked. So isn't there some kind of weird social or psychological disconnect? This is not a good way to be using data sets together. These data sets are measuring different things, and they're measuring them for different populations of people. And it's very easy to look at this and think that this is a kind of a correlation versus causation fallacy touching on that, because it's very likely, since the same women are not being interviewed here in these two data sets, that because older women are fearful of being attacked, they're staying in and they're less likely to be attacked. What would really be a proper, or more, not proper, but more effective combination of data sets would be if you could find out from the same woman, how likely do you feel it is that you will be attacked, and how often were you actually attacked? That would help you see a proper correlation rather than comparing two data sets that aren't really comparing the same thing. So when you're going to bring data sets together, either physically join them together and use the data as a multivariate analysis, or you're going to take a summary statistic from one data set and a summary statistic from another data set and put them side by side, whichever way you're going to combine your data, make sure that the assumptions and the internal logic and what those two data sets are studying are the same thing so that you can make an apples to apples comparison.